Ouch. Hi there. Today's Friday. It's my 5-video Friday. 5 for fry. I should trademark that right now for radio stations before they get their hands on it. You can too, right now on the computer. Spend $200, trademark it, and if you ever see it, rake in the cash. There's another idea. Anyway, this has to do with the Beatles' All You Need Is Love. Okay, one of my favorite songs of all time. And a quick thing, Lennon and McCartney, I think Lennon had the most hand in writing it, but Lennon and McCartney, they had this thing that they had to do. They were going to do the first satellite, like, what would it call, pan-earthy? Pan-universal, like, worldwide satellite thing. So different countries were selected to put little tidbits in this broadcast, which I think was 1967. So what happens is like a week before the event, I think, George Martin's like, well, John, how's it coming, that song that you're going to write? When is it? It's coming up in a week. And he's like, oh, is it that close? So George Martin, if you've read the books, Jeff Emmerich and all these guys, they're shiting bricks. They're like, oh my God, the guys haven't written a song for this massive event, like representing Great Britain on this. They were like chosen to represent Great Britain. So anyway, so they wrote All You Need Is Love. And All You Need Is Love, if you really sit and listen to it, it's a beautiful tune, because John Lennon, and if, Paul McCartney had a hand in these lyrics, but to me they're just very Lennon-y. There's nothing you can see that isn't seen. There's nothing you can do that isn't done. Like at first I used to sort of listen to it and think, like it's just like, come on, there's nothing you can do, But then it, dawned on me, it's like, ultimately it's like you can do anything if you want to do it. Right? You can experience anything if you want to do it. You just have to realize that if you really want something, you can do it. But there's a line later in the song. So it goes on. Love is all you need, 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 which is a great part of the tune. And by the way, David Mason and another trumpeter, when they do that, is beautiful. And they do it twice in the tune, especially on the way end fade, it's beautiful. By the way, I think the Beatles got in a little bit of trouble when they did the In the Mood lick. Anyway, but just to get right to the point, there's a little break towards they get almost all the way to the end of the big love is all you need, love is all you need, and you hear Lennon go yeah like that, and it's after that everybody that McCartney says, but way back in there, and you hear McCartney's bass like boom 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 boom, and it sort of stops for a second, boom boom, and right in when McCartney's not playing the drums, Lennon says something. Now I've looked it up on the internet, and some people say it's like yes you're dead, or yes it's something. Somebody else thinks it's yesterday. What I think Lennon's saying is yes you can, and if indeed that's what it is, that sums up, that would be, I just think that's a beautiful thing. So if anybody knows for sure what John Lennon's actually saying there, and it kind of does sound like yesterday, but the thing is, if a Liverpudlian says, yes you can, it's going to sound like, yes you can. So that's what I think. If it's yes you can, which I think it is, if you put that in the context of the rest of the tune, it's a masterpiece. It's just a masterpiece in all senses of the word. Musically, philosophically, make you feel bettery. So check that out. I think he's saying yes you can. Because when Lennon first met Yoko Ono at this art gallery that Yoko had, she had one of the pieces of work that he said that really moved him was on the ceiling. There was a white painting. It was white, and in the you could tell it was something very, very little. And there was a, not a monocle, magnifying glass hanging. There was a ladder going up to it, pretty high ceiling, I think. And Lennon went up there and he held the magnifying glass up and he looked and it just said yes. That's my 4th video. I know it seems like I'm losing my mind, but that means a lot to me. Anyway, 4th video, 5th coming up, 5th of 5 for Fry. Thank you for watching.